At 27, a young attorney from Iowa arrives in the city that Sandburg called the hog butcher for the world, toolmaker, stacker of wheat, player with railroads and the nation's freight handler, stormy, husky, brawling, city of the big shoulders. Chicago has become a world-class city, and it is here that Paul Harris practices law for over 40 years. Here, he will marry and make his home. For Paul, success in business alone carries the hollow ring of loneliness. Something is missing: connection and camaraderie. That thought and the choices that Paul Harris makes will ultimately affect the world. The Rotary Club of Berkeley is part of Paul's story, and this is the story of Berkeley Rotary. Paul looks for the same friendly spirit he'd left behind in the small towns where he'd grown up and where he'd studied just a few years before. Chicago is imposing, so Paul invites a fellow attorney for dinner, and walking home that evening, marvels at how his colleague is so friendly with the shopkeepers in the area. The experience gives Paul an idea. I'll start a club with other business professionals. We'll build the community formed in friendship. Soon, Paul and 3 other businessmen rotate among meeting locations for fellowship and encouragement. Not long afterward, the club is named Rotary. Paul has no idea of the importance of events he sets in motion at the beginning of the 20th century. By 1908, Rotary is established in San Francisco, crosses to the East Bay, and by 1910 the Tri-City Club of Alameda, Berkeley, and Oakland is officially chartered. Called Number 3, the club joins the new world of Rotary. A half-century before, in 1866, men from Oakland's Private College of California venture northward looking for a new campus. As they survey the site, one looks through the Golden Gate and sees 2 ships going to sea. Standing on what is now Founder's Rock, he exclaims, "Westward the course of empire takes its way." Words from the pen of Anglo-Irish Bishop George Berkeley. 2 years later, the new college becomes the University of California. And 10 years later, the community of Ocean View, down by the bay, merges with the village that springs up around the campus. The new town is called Berkeley. The pairing of town and gown is a marriage that allows both the university and the city to prosper. Soon, trolleys clang along their way up serpentine tracks, up into the hills, where one day the handiwork of Howard, Morgan, Yelland, and Maybeck will cling. As the trolleys climb to their stops, some passengers board excitedly, others with caution. Berkeley is building, it's growing, expanding, a place of education, of new ideas and high ideals. Those suspicious of the newfangled hold on to the comfort of the tried and true. They favor the horse-drawn carriage in spite of their non-stop rattling on the rutted streets. But there is the push and pull of progress. The bishop is right. The empire takes its way. Some will not give up so easily, and others not at all. Still others struggle, and help them as they resist. Berkeley is becoming the Athens of the West, and the entrance to the Acropolis opens through Sather Gate. As the academy expands, so does commerce. Bankers, grocers, booksellers, and dry goods stores quickly line both sides of the avenues, and trolleys and trains pass side to side. In the spring of 1915, Lloyd Houston, owner of a popular shoe store, walks down the block to see his friend Les Hink of the Mercantile. A sign over the door announces dry goods, notions, fancy goods, draperies, domestics, etc. Lloyd comes to talk to Mr. Hink about starting a Rotary Club in Berkeley. After all, the city is growing and can support a club of its own. Les is not interested in the least. I will not spend a penny of my time with a group of self-promoting businessmen. He then relates the story of the Rotary Club in Oakland, which has the unspoken policy, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Les is a respected and a valued member of the community. His no means no. As time passes, Paul Harris and those early adopters of Rotary work to find their true north and discover that one profits most who serves best. Service above self becomes their motto. Hearing this, Houston returns to Hink. Les, let me show you what Rotary stands for, and reads to him the newly minted Rotary Code of Ethics. Well, if that is what Rotary means, then I'm in, says Les. In less than a month, February 9th, 1916, Houston and Hink recruit 21 other businessmen from around the town, and they meet at the Shattuck Hotel to organize a Rotary Club for their city. 2 months later, April 1st, 1916, the Rotary Club of Berkeley is chartered. As the club grows, Les proudly holds a private dinner each year for all of the new members and gives each a rolled-up parchment scroll tied with a ribbon, a copy of the Rotary Code of Ethics. Now, service is the focus of Rotarians everywhere. It is the topic of every luncheon. Building public toilets is the first service project of Chicago Rotary. No doubt other clubs struggle to find their niche, but not Berkeley. This newly formed and enterprising group of young businessmen take on their first service project, a Saturday matinee when the children of Berkeley can see a clean and wholesome film at the local theater. Good ideas spread quickly and soon. Saturday matinees for children become a norm in cinemas across the nation.
Crackers in my soup, monkeys and rabbits loop-the-loop. Gosh, oh gee, but I have fun swallowing animals one by one. In every bowl of soup I see lions and tigers watching me. I make 'em jump right through a hoop, those animal crackers in my soup.
Berkeley Rotary is now the connecting point for businessmen and university and city leaders. The word is on the street. To accomplish something in Berkeley, go to the Rotary meeting, because that's where the decision makers meet. One of those men is Robert Gordon Sproul, the 4th president of Berkeley Rotary. It is 1919, and he is 27 years old. By 1930, he becomes the 11th president of the University of California at Berkeley, and remains an active Rotarian throughout his life. For over 70 years, Berkeley Rotary manages the Berkeley-Reno train trip. The annual winter intercity getaway started in 1938. The train stops at stations from Oakland to Reno as Rotarians from neighboring clubs climb aboard. There's food and drink, plenty of fellowship, yes, and poker, and other games of chance. For years, the biggest gamble is snow. In 2010, the snow wins and an era ends. In 1928, Captain Chester Nimitz is inducted as a member of Berkeley Rotary. A year later, he becomes Admiral Nimitz, and in World War II, will lead the entire Pacific Fleet. Regular attendance at Rotary is serious business. If, during a period of national emergency, and members have been called into government service, unable to attend, shall be made temporarily honorary members, will keep their classifications open for their return. From the board minutes of November 4th, 1940, the Admiral becomes an honorary member of the club. The club celebrates the 50th anniversary of Rotary International, and members plant a redwood grove at the old missile site in Tilden Park that overlooks the bay. It takes the vision and leadership of President Stan McCaffrey that year to seed the Berkeley Rotary International Peace Grove, and it is Stan who guides Rotary International as its worldwide president in 1981 and 82. During the social upheaval of the 60s, Berkeley Rotary remains a steady builder of community. In 1966, for the club's golden anniversary, club president Cliff Docterman challenges the club to build a gift for the city, the Art and Garden Center. But first, Cliff seeks the blessing of Les Hink. "If you think you can do it, son, then you can," says Les, as he writes the first check to help fund the project. First a club president, then district governor and international trustee, once again Berkeley Rotary lends its own to Rotary International. Clifford L. Docterman becomes the worldwide president of Rotary in 92 and 93, and everywhere he travels shares the news. True happiness is serving others, and Cliff believes this wholeheartedly. As trustee, Cliff plays a key role in adopting a history-making international project, the eradication of polio. Rotarians circle the globe giving drops of life and hope. Today, we are just this close. For decades, Berkeley Rotary is at the forefront of youth service. Since the beginning, the club supports scholars, strengthens families, promotes mentoring, and even sponsors a successful program to teach auto mechanics as a way to discourage delinquency. Business and Rotary are considered a man's purview in the early years, but inestimable is the value added to those first service projects by the wives and families of Rotarians. Looking back with modern eyes, we can easily criticize the men of Rotary for not including women as full partners in their effort. But those were the times, and ignorance is the curse of God, but knowledge, the wing wherewith we fly to heaven. And heaven opened for Berkeley Rotary on April 1st, 1987, as Deborah Ritchie, Eleanor Klaus, and Dorothy Walker increase the IQ and lower the average age of the all-male club. They are the first women of Berkeley Rotary. Not until 1989 and a court order does Rotary International admit women. For Berkeley Rotary, it only takes forward-looking men like Schuyler Bailey, Mike Call, and Dick Adam, the members who sponsored these women. They see Rotary's future, and it is bright. The men of Rotary fill trains, but the women of Rotary fill ships. In 1997-98, Barbara Dineo, the first Madam President of Berkeley Rotary, envisions a district conference where hundreds of Rotarians from all over District 5160 come aboard the U.S. Hornet, and they do. Hearing the song of Berkeley Rotary long ago offers notes for the score of its future. Learning the tales of its past is a prologue to the story being written. Service is serious work, yet Berkeley Rotarians do not take themselves too seriously. With truth and fairness to all concerned, Goodwill and friendships are built to the benefit of everyone. The weekly lunch meeting provides an opportunity for the care and encouragement of one another. A variety of topics and speakers keep club membership informed, entertained, and challenged. The teamwork of committees is the club's engine for getting things done. It takes the fuel of time, talent, fundraising to get a project off the ground, parking cars, flipping burgers, schlepping beer, and counting down. 3, 2, 1 provides the lift that makes it fly. For a century, Berkeley Rotarians have said, we don't just think about it, we do it. Rotaract, Polio Plus, literacy, health, education, infrastructure, disaster relief, helping hands, filling needs, lifting spirits, spreading light, working together, pulling our weight, loving our community. Celebrating success. Near and far. One by one, little by little, changing lives. Project by project. Side by side. Meeting by meeting. Turning this into that. Berkeley Rotarians serve in present tense, and that's how you build a history.
Bye.